Derby Ram is 60 feet long and 6 foot 10 inches wide, which is the classic width for canal boats for the British waterways. As you can see, currently she's moored bow to, but the stern is actually a traditional stern layout which provides a nice compact steering area and a very convenient place to control the boat, and reflects the heritage of the working boats of the canals of the UK. Walking down the boat, you can see the traditional sort of long, low cabin design layout, which is very indicative of the traditional narrow boat design. And steel thickness wise, we've got the standard layout as well, which is 10-6-4. So that's 10 mil steel lower down to keep the weight down low, which increases stability, and then 6 mil as you come up the sides, and then 4 mil the higher up you go. Part of the routine maintenance of canal boats, and well, all boats really, but canal boats on the inland waterways, is what's called boat blacking. So you can see down from the sort of gunnels down here down to the waterline, and underneath the boat is what looks like black paint. It's actually bitumen, so it's boat blacking. The boat was re-blacked in 2021 and of course carries the boat safety certificate and runs on a Beta 30 engine, which I'll show you a little bit later on, that was last serviced in 2023. 70 feet really is a fantastic length for a canal boat for the British waterways. It's long enough to give you really good interior volume for a proper living space, so you're not feeling cramped and hemmed in. You're not going to get cabin fever in a boat this size, but she's still perfectly manoeuvrable enough to get round all the canals that you would want to get round. She's spray foamed throughout, so you're not going to have problems with condensation or damp, and the insulation rating is really good. Electrical wise, obviously she's got a hookup so you can plug her into the shoreline just like you would on a caravan site if you had a caravan, and she carries a good complement of 12 volt batteries, which I'll show you in a bit. So she's got 240 volt and 12 volt systems on board, with a nice array of solar panels so that you can comfortably go off grid for extended periods of time. So now we've had a good look at the exterior of Derby Ram, let's go indoors and see what she's like inside. Now, when I come and look at these boats to review them and show them to you guys, it's always a pleasant surprise, and I never know what I'm going to see until I get there. I've had the sort of spec sheet beforehand to have a little read up, but something that really caught my eye was this beautiful stained glass work. It's absolutely gorgeous, and sometimes you see it in the brochure and you think, oh, you know, I'm not sure how that's going to look in real life, but that's really stunning. The first room that we come into as we enter these double doors from the bow is the saloon, though. Let's have a look at the saloon. So as I say, the boat is moored bow to at the moment, which means the front of the boat is easier to access. So as you come down these steps, the first thing that caught my eye was the really nice quality woodwork. This isn't just some sort of cheap plywood from Howdens or IKEA, do you know what I mean? This is all really nice bespoke stuff, and the lightness of the wood gives a really bright feel to the boat. It's not kind of that dark, dingy, very heavy feel that you get on some boats. We've got beautiful shelves here with really nice kind of shelf hangers that have been purposefully made. You know, the mitre joints are nice. The woodwork has had some attention to detail paid to it. There's proper light switches where you would expect them to be in handy places, and proper plug sockets where you would expect them to be. There are drawers over on this side, and more shelving over here. got a two-seater settee here, and there are two sockets in the floor, which mean that you can put two posts in to put a little table up there for having your TV dinners or for using that as a desk to work at. We've got a television on the wall here, and then moving further forward or further back in this case, because I'm moving back through the boat, we've got a beautiful multi-fuel stove here with a ceramic surround, and that really sets off the boat. So I'm imagining with that lit and the radiators going, it's going to be properly toasty. Moving on, we come into the galley, the kitchen of the boat. Everything's done in this beautiful, rich royal blue, which works really well with the brass fittings. We have a 4-burner gas hob, which is ample, and an integrated built-in oven beneath that. We've got a lovely Derby style sink and drainer with brass fittings and brass taps. It's all really nice, high quality, high spec stuff, and a 12-volt fridge, so that'll be nice low power draw as well. And if you're wondering what this panel in the floor is, well, lift it up and you have an underfloor wine rack. There's plenty of storage on Derby Ram. There's lots and lots of wall cupboards, so you're going to have no problems finding places to put your crockery and pots and pans and all of that kind of stuff. But there's also a very handy dandy shelf here with a socket at the back, so you can put a microwave or an air fryer up there. You could even put something similar, you know, your Ninja or what have you, your food blender, up in the top cupboard. And there's an equally impressive array of cupboards under the sink, you know, sliding cupboards for your pots and pans and things like that. Next we have the master bedroom with a generously sized double bed. Again, what really impresses me about this is the quality of the fixtures and fittings, the brass rails, the brass portholes, the beautifully done woodwork, again, all the joints and everything. It's just real attention to detail above and beyond what you see on a lot of boats, quite frankly, and I've seen a lot of boats now. This is a great bedroom. There's plenty of room to walk up and down the side of the bed. You're not going to sort of be banging your knees every time you try and walk up and down. We've got sockets next to the bed, so you can charge your phone and plug whatever you need to be, your hair straighteners or whatever it is you need to plug in. This is absolutely beautiful. This is like a hanging wardrobe storage room. They've got a little vacuum cleaner and what have you in there at the moment. But that door it's just beautiful. It's not in keeping in the sense with the rest of the woodwork of the boat, but it's obviously something, I don't know what the history of that is. I'd like to know whether that's something that somebody made for a previous owner as a gift and they've put it in, but it's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. It may have even been something that they've picked up in an antique shop or what, you know, one of the kind of bric-a-brac shops, but it just really works. And fits the boat surprisingly well. It's a really nice added piece of artistic flair there. Moving forward then, we come into the main bathroom of the boat, and it is a bathroom because we have a bath, albeit a small one, but you can sit and read your favourite book with your favourite glass of wine while relaxing in the bath here, and of course there's a shower as well. We've got port lights, an electric toilet, a proper heated towel rail, and again a beautifully made vanity unit with an illuminated mirror. A very functional but very nicely made little bathroom. So moving on from the bathroom, the next room that you come into is, I guess you would call it a utility room. It's adjoined onto the engine room, which I'm going to show you in a second, but we've got loads and loads of storage in here for tools, engine components and what have you. In here is the calorifier, sort of immersion tank, you would call it in a house. So you just flick a switch and you've got instant hot water. If you're plugged into shore power, obviously you don't want to do that when you're just running off your batteries, because you'll flatten your batteries quite quickly. But there's your water system in there. In here we've got a washing machine, a top loading washing machine, which is great and quite an unusual feature on a narrowboat. And we've also got a bit of redundancy. There's a chemical toilet in there, just spare, so that if you find yourself in a situation where you can't get your holding tank pumped out, which is unusual but can happen from time to time, you have then got a chemical toilet to use as a backup so you don't get caught short. Now, the engine room. One of my pet hates when you're trying to change a fuel filter or a belt or do something like that on the engine is not enough light. Look, we've got the swan hatch here, so that was a bit loud. So we can let plenty of light in to our engine room. This is the Beta Marine 30 horsepower, an absolute powerhouse of an engine. She's a proper little chugger. That will go on forever and ever and ever, and this is a properly functional little workshop space. So you've got all of your battery and electrical control units, your charging systems and what have you, your breaker units and your engine, and that is, to me, that is like, yes, absolutely perfect. That's how I would want it laid out for ease of use. Beautiful. Now finally, before we step out onto the aft deck, we have what's called the boatman's cabin, and this is possibly my favourite place in the entire boat. It's just such a lovely space to be in, the warm, rich colours. We've got the gorgeous Epping multi-fuel stove here, which is going to keep you absolutely toasty. We've got a little bed here that you could easily sleep on if you needed to, and so much storage, more storage than you could shake a stick at, for all of your engine bits and your coal and fuel and what have you for your little heater. And you know, look at the size of this cupboard. This is massive, huge. it's just heaven. And the boat just feels like a TARDIS to me. And I know she's 70 feet long, so she's not a small boat by any means, but she just feels like she goes on forever and ever and ever. And I just think she's an absolutely wonderful, wonderful piece of kit with so much character. You know, those beautiful doors that we saw earlier on, the stained glass, the lovely individual paintings and individual artistic touches that we've got throughout the boat, which are nice but not overstated or garish or cheesy or tacky in any way. It's just all been very, very tastefully done.
Of course, before I finish these videos, I always send them off for approval to make sure I haven't said anything wrong. And in this case, I did. This isn't a cupboard at all. It's actually a fold-down table. And what I called a cupboard here is another bed. Back when these boats were working, whole families lived in this tiny space, so everything had to fold away and do more than one job. Genius.
And then, of course, we're out on the aft deck with our afloat. We've got all of our engine controls here, throttle and gear selector here, so everything's within easy reach. You know, you've got your horn, your headlamp, your nav lights, your bilge pumps, and all of your gauges, so you can see your engine revs and engine hours and all that kind of stuff. Everything that you could possibly need within easy reach of the helm. So that concludes our tour of Derby Ram. She really is a beautiful boat that combines heritage styling with practical onboard living. So if you'd like to know more, you can find out more details or arrange a viewing by contacting the Lakeland Leisure Boat Sales team. Thanks very much for watching.